Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to show you how to do this. This is called a grid stitch. It's really pretty, it makes beautiful blankets. With this I've been using Red Heart Soft Baby Steps. It's really soft, I really love this yarn, it really is. The colour, it doesn't have a name, it's 00005. Really soft, and it's 100 grams that you get in the ball, and that is 164 meters in that. So I'm going to show you how to do this. I'll do it in a different colour. You can see this is what it looks like in a plain colour, and I'm going to do a multicoloured one and show you what it looks like in that. Now with this, it did tell you on the label to use a UK 5mm hook, but I used a 4. I used a 4 so that my grid would be slightly smaller and a little bit more dainty. That's a UK 4mm, and that is an American, if I can get my camera to focus in. This is an F, and that's a UK 4mm. So I'm going to pop that aside and I'm going to get a different colour and I'll show you how to do this grid stitch. This is a James C. Brett Baby Twinkle yarn. Look at that little sparkle in there. But it's really soft, not jaggy at all. Now this is a thinner yarn than the Red Heart one. So I'll show you what it looks like. This is a double knitting. So I'm going to use my 4mm hook with this, and the red heart yarn is thicker. You can see how much thicker that red heart yarn is to this one. So we'll get a slightly different look on it. So we'll get on and we'll show you how to do this. The stitch count for that grid pattern is 4 plus an extra 3 at the end. So your chain will be chains of 4. So I'm going to do a slip knot, put that onto my hook. Put your first stitch on the way that you feel comfortable doing it. So I'm going to do my chain and I'm going to do it in sets of 4. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3 and 4. So I've done my chain. I'm going to do this a little bit bigger than that square that I showed you. So I've done my chain in sets of 4. So I'm going to add an extra 3. 1, 2 and 3. Now on your chain, I'm going to turn it around so we get a nice even bottom on the blanket. I'm going to turn the chain around. Now you can see those little lines. These are the lines that we'll be going to work in. If you turn your chain around, you've got your foundation chain there, and if you turn it around like that, you'll see these little lines running along. That's your stitches, and that's the ones we're going to use. So into the second one, don't count that loop. Count 1 and 2 into that second loop there. So just put your hook through and pull your yarn through. Yarn over and pull through. If you're in the USA, that's a single crochet. So that little line there is our next stitch. So we'll do a double crochet in there. We're going to chain 2, 1, 2. We're going to skip 2 stitches and then do a double crochet in the next stitch and 1 into the next stitch. So double crochet and double crochet into the next stitch. I'm going to chain 2, 1, 2, skip 2 and then do a double crochet into the next stitch and a double crochet into the next stitch. So it's 2 double crochets, 2 chain, and you're skipping 2. So it's all 2s, chain 2, skip 2 and then double crochet into the next stitch and a double crochet into the next stitch all the way to the end, and you should finish on 2 double crochets. So I've done my chain of 2, skip 2, and my last 2 stitches are going to be a double crochet and a double crochet. Now if you've got an extra stitch, just pick it out because you might have just miscounted as you've done your chain. So this is what we have. We have this little double chain. What you're going to do now is you're going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3, and turn your work around. Now into the top of that double crochet, we're going to do a UK treble crochet. If you're in the USA, that's a double crochet it's called. So into the top of this stitch, you're going to do a treble crochet. So your chain of 3 counts as your first treble crochet. Chain 2, 1, 2. Skip over this space here, and you're going to put a treble crochet into this double crochet and 1 into this one. So a treble crochet into that stitch and a treble crochet into that stitch. Chain 2, just like you did on the bottom, but instead of doing double crochets, we're doing trebles. Skip that chain space and do a treble crochet and a treble crochet. So you're skipping these 2 stitches. So 1 treble crochet into that stitch and 1 treble crochet into that stitch. Chain 2, 1, 2, skip these 2, so skip the chain space and put a treble crochet on top of that stitch and 1 on top of that stitch. So skip that chain space, 1 treble crochet and 1 into the next stitch. Chain 2, 1, 2, skip the 2 over the chain space and 1 treble crochet and 1 treble crochet. Look how the light's catching that sparkle. It's really pretty. All the way to the end. So I'm on my last section, chain 2, skip those 2 stitches where the chain is, and I've got 2 stitches left. I'm going to put a treble crochet on the top of that stitch and a treble crochet on the top of that stitch. Now these are the 2 rows that you'll keep repeating. A little tip, make sure you've got 2 treble crochets in each section. Make sure you've got 2. There's no point in not looking and you've only got 1 here and you find out 5 rows 5 rows up that you've missed one somewhere. Now you're going to chain 1 and turn your work. Just chain 1. Now we're going to repeat the double crochet row. So right into that first stitch above that treble crochet, you're going to do a double crochet. Do 1 on top of the next stitch and then chain 2, 1, 2, skip the chain and put a double crochet on top of this stitch and a double crochet here. So you'll always have chains on top of chains and stitches on top of stitches. So it's just remember that here you're doing a double crochet and a double crochet next. Chain 2, 1, 2, skip the chain space and do a double crochet and a double crochet on top of the next stitch. Chain 2, double crochet and then double crochet on top of the next stitch. Chain 2 and then do your double crochets all the way to the end. So I'm at my last 2 stitches. I've done my chain 2. I'm going to skip that chain space and do a double crochet into that next stitch and a double crochet into the top of that chain of 3. get that round a bit. It's twisted itself in. A double crochet into the top of that chain of 3. So now we're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3. That counts as your first treble crochet. Turn your work, and now we're going to repeat the pattern. So we're doing a treble crochet into the next stitch. To chain 2, 1, 2, go over to your next stitches. You're going to skip these chains and do a treble crochet into this stitch and a treble crochet into this stitch. Treble crochet and a treble crochet. Chain 2, 1, 2, then treble crochet and a treble into the next stitch. Chain 2 and on we go all the way to the end. You should finish with 2 treble crochets, and your next row coming back will be your chain 2 and a double crochet and a double crochet. You're going to repeat that little row, so you've got a little short stitch and then your taller treble crochet stitch, and it should work out. And pretty soon you will have this. Just make sure that you're doing 2 stitches when you do your 2, especially with your double crochets. You can't really see the double crochets. If you stretch it out, you can see where your double crochets are down here on this row, and what makes it look like a grid is you've got these chains together like this, and it makes it like a grid stitch or like a chain link fence almost as well. This is what it looks like in that James Seabury Twinkle yarn. It is so pretty, and this crochets up so fast because you're only doing 2 stitches and 2 chain and 2 stitches. It crochets really fast as well. It really is. And this is the other one that I was doing. This is the one that's in the Red Heart Soft Baby Steps. And you can get this for $1.99 on Lovecrafts for a 100-gram ball. That's a great price to pay for this yarn, and it's super soft. It really is, and it would make a really cheap blanket as well. And it's so pretty. It really is. So give this stitch a try. This is called the grid stitch. So thank you very much for watching. Please subscribe to my channel. Over 80% of the people who watch my tutorials are not subscribed. That is an amazing amount of people that are not subscribed to the channel. Now please click on the subscribe button if you haven't subscribed already and you're watching the channel, and if you click on the bell icon, then YouTube will tell you when I put up another tutorial. So until the next time, happy crafting, and I'll see you all again soon. Goodbye.